check this place out. Look at this place. This is a Warlick Family YMCA. Place is absolutely amazing. I'm getting ready to go in here and do a wheel seminar. I believe Taylor already has it set up. I peeked in. But just check this place out. It is unreal. The Warlick Family YMCA. Unreal. And it backs up to a lake. So we're going to do a wheel seminar really quickly, well, for the next few minutes. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to show you the YMCA. Hey, how are you? Got a place for the kids. There they are, they're waiting. And look at this lake. Unreal. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm gonna go in here and meet everybody. I'm gonna hand this off to Taylor. We're gonna have some fun, talk about some wheels. Hey Taylor, can I hand this off to you?
You'll be the man down.
She's deferring to me.
Yeah.
Don't give me a question. I know what you're talking about. I didn't even hear the question. I know what you're talking about. So, hey, I'm going to give you this as well.
Okay.
You need to use this? Or are you going to just use it up there?
I can use it up there.
Okay.
Yep. I have mine too, so.
Okay, good. So I'll just set you a chair up here.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm Greg McIntyre. I think I'm running a few minutes early, which is good. I'm better than running a few minutes behind, right? So if you don't mind, I'm just going to go ahead and start. This is Taylor Shelton. Taylor is, I want to say, I'm probably her trusty sidekick more than she is mine. She's, handles some event things like this for us, and but also is getting out of this business. She works primarily in benefits now, which we have a benefits department that she knows a lot about. So she does a great job there with clients and under those rule systems. So I'm just coming into, I was coming into the seminar, but I'm coming in my mouse up, and I need to shut my mouth because I'm amazed at I'm like, oh, this is beautiful. The whole place is beautiful. And what a beautiful facility. It's gorgeous. And if you see some spots on my jacket, I was drinking one of these shakes, health shakes on the way in, and I probably got as much in my mouth as I did on my jacket because I was driving. So anyway, how's everybody this morning? Feeling okay? Stand up for me. Stand up. We're at the YMCA. Anybody been working out this morning? Yeah. You have, so you've already got your workout in, but I'm not going to lead you in an aerobics class today. But just stand up and stretch, and I don't know, I always feel better to receive information and to give it if my blood's flowing a little bit, right? All right, you can sit down. Okay, you can sit down. So, I'm Greg McIntyre. Call me Greg. I'm an attorney at McIntyre Elder Law, which our primary focus is only on estate planning and elder law. That's all we do. Usually I have a nice presentation to go along, but it's so bright in here. Taylor correctly informed me that she felt it would be too bright to give the presentation. I'd hate to shut out the sunlight and the view anyway, so I'm gonna wing it today. I think I know it pretty well. So all I do is estate planning and elder law. If you get a speeding ticket on the way home, I hope you don't, but feel free to call me, but we're gonna refer you to somebody who does that, okay? But if you have questions on estate planning and elder law, that's what we do. So this is a how to write a will seminar. So we're gonna start off talking about wills. And we're going to primarily focus on wills and how to write a will. And I'm going to field questions on wills. And feel free to ask questions at any time. If I feel like it's going down too deep, down a tangent or a rabbit hole, then I'm probably going to pull back and say, hey, let's talk about that afterwards, okay? If you have any questions for me, as far as that are personal in nature, right? And you may not feel comfortable revealing that in front of a group. Feel free to talk about that afterwards, and Taylor will help you with that as well, and coordinating that, okay? Or we can just chat a little bit after the seminar. But feel free to ask any questions you're comfortable in asking, and I will feel free to answer them to the best of my ability, okay? And so wills, let's talk a little bit about the history of wills. Who knows what a will is? Yes.
Basically, it's a golden ticket for my kids.
Golden ticket for your kids, okay? Okay. Anything else? It also describes some of my kids, strong will, or my best friend will. Go ahead.
What you want to leave after you're gone, you write a will.
You write a will, what you want to leave after you die. Okay. Before you die. You don't write it after you die. Just to be specific. Correct. Good answer. What else? Anybody else? What, can you leave a spoken will? Does a lawyer have to draft your will? Yeah. I like that. If it's not what? If it's not in writing, it didn't happen.
You gotta have a good witness.
You gotta have a good witness. Can I get a witness? You think that's where that phrase came from? Can I get a witness? We say that in our office all the time. Can I get a witness? And we bring in witnesses to witness will signings and other signings. That's a good lead into a conversation about the history of wills. Actually, when wills started, they were spoken wills. You know, back in ancient Greece and then through ancient Rome, you'd have spoken wills. There would be a council of 7 witnesses that would hear you stand up and tell your will, and you can imagine how many problems that caused. I guarantee you, if I said something in this meeting, if I told you my will right now with everybody here, everybody would hear it a different way. Plus, my kids might bend your ear after I die and say, I'll touch you in on some of this. If you heard it this way, I don't know. I mean, it's just ripe for abuse and fraud, and not very reliable that way, but it worked for a while. And then written wills were more in vogue, and written wills were in ancient Rome as well. And then the English system, the legal system, and now in the American legal system, we have modern wills. And do you think we still have problems with wills today? Yes, we do. What are some of the problems with wills today? Kids contesting the will. One of the greatest questions one of the questions I get at every seminar like this that I do is, and one of you wants to ask it at some point, so I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there. Can you stop the kids from contesting the will? No. Hey, I like her. She's right.
They always have the right to sue.
They have the right to sue. You have a constitutional right to be made whole or to legal redress, right, to access to the legal system. You can't cut that out. What can you do, though, to limit that? Try to draft your will as close to the law as possible, right? Right. Tight drafting, would prevent that. Or, if you had Billy Bob, who you didn't like, and he was your kid, or maybe he wasn't trustworthy, maybe you didn't want to leave him anything. Or Mary Sue, whoever it is. You might want to literally state in the will, there's a couple of ways to do this. You might want to disinherit them. That's the main way. Is you say, hey, Billy Bob, you're not getting anything in this will. You do not take over this will. I'm a sound-minded body. I'm over the age of 18 years old, and I know what I'm doing. This is my last Old Testament. Cut me out of the will. We'll use some more legal language than that. Okay, but we'll disinherit them in the will. And then a really nice way to do it that I get these questions all the time too is, hey, but I had a lawyer back today say, we're going to leave Billy Bob $1. We got to leave him $1. You don't have to leave Billy Bob a cent. However, a nice way to disinherit someone is to leave them $1, right? I mean, that's kind of a, hey, I'm Billy Bob, I'm leaving you $1, right? And Mary Sue gets $100,000, right? Or the house or something, okay? So there's a couple of ways to do that. But tight drafting, really being clear, clarity. Clarity is king, I think. Not beating around the bush, and making sure everything's legal, that the will is prevailable. So, I've given you a little worksheet, and at the top it says, I blank, a resident of blank county, North Carolina, on this day, September 12th, 2018, I feel like the president. Revoke any prior wills and codicils made by me and declare this to be my last will and testament, hereinafter referred to as my will. So what am I doing there? I'm revoking any prior wills and codicils, period. I'm saying those aren't good anymore. Why would I do that?
It's a change people to the language.
Yeah, you want to make sure it's clear that those aren't any good anymore, right? That this is new. This is not an addition to those. It's not a codicil. The other ones shouldn't be considered. Sometimes I have people bring their last 3 wills to me to review. And I draft a new one. Should you keep your old wills?
No.
I have some notes. Why? Why should you not keep your wills?
Because if it got my name on it, and the new one doesn't, I will sue.
There you go. Or what if Billy Bob goes to your safe place, maybe your desk drawer, a safe or something. He pulls out your wills and he says, well, I like this one. I don't like this one. Mom cut me out of this one, right? I don't like this, but I like this one. I was splitting everything with my sisters. Okay.
Yeah, it's on.
They do, but if Billy Bob burns the other one or throws it away and presents the other one for probate, who's the wiser? Billy Bob knows, that's right. So it's important to dispose of your old wills, in my opinion. That's my legal advice, because you don't want there to be a conflict between the new will and the old will. Or maybe he says, you know, Dad wasn't with it. He was out of it when he wrote this will. We should go by this one. There's a lot of reasons why you might want to dispose of them. Yes, sir.
I came down here from Illinois about 4 years ago.
Yes.
I had a.
I'm glad you did. And I like Chicago. I like Illinois. I like Chicago. It's an amazing place.
Perfect politician.
In the summer.
We send them to prison.
Or the White House. Or the White House.
Then we sell their Senate seat.
There you go. Okay.
And then that governor goes to prison.
Okay. Then the governor is. True story.
Okay, in Illinois, when you have an attorney make out a will, he keeps a copy in his files.
Okay.
And if I'm not mistaken, he actually files it with the Recorder of Deeds.
Register of Deeds, which would be in North Carolina. Register of Deeds, sure. Okay. What's your name?
Vic.
Vic said, I'm from Illinois, and in Illinois, attorneys keep a copy of the will, and attorneys file it at the Register of Deeds, or Recorder of Deeds, is what he's calling it in Illinois. Is that what attorneys do in North Carolina? There's no requirement for any of that. I doubt there is in Illinois either, although I only practice law in North Carolina, okay? But I can tell you about that, okay? So I'll skip there. Can you probate a copy of your will? Short answer is no. You need the original to probate, okay? Your original will. Do you think it's a good idea for everybody in here to keep their wills in my office? What's coming? What's coming off the coast? A hurricane. I see it right there. It's coming right up through those trees. Yeah, the hurricane, right? We'll see it on the TV. Look at the TV. It's right there. What if it floods my office and all your wills are there? Is that a good idea? No, it's a horrible idea. And I'll say that to all the attorneys who keep all their clients' wills in their office. It's a horrible idea. What if my office burns down? Where? Safety deposit box. Really, I like to make sure my client has the original will. And you keep it in a safe place. That for you, that might be a safety deposit box. And we can talk about accessibility to that. It might be your desk drawer. It might be a shoebox under the bed. It might be in a fireproof safe. Okay, you know where your safe place is. I will keep a copy of it. We keep a digital copy of everything that we do in our office. We have had a flood in our office before that took out about half the office. And it was from a busted pipe that was spewing out through a wall and over ceilings and took out a bunch of files. I was for a week Well, you were there.
I was
For a
there.
week, we were all back there with hair dryers and drying out paperwork and files. That's the day we went paperless.
We did go paperless after that.
Can you not put the well in the cloud?
In the cloud? You could. We do that too.
For which one?
I forgot which stuff. So I think having a copy, the attorney being able to reproduce it is smart. Now, it is possible to probate a copy, but you have to jump through a lot of hoops to do it. And hearing and prove it was that person's intent, will, it's not an easy thing to do. You want the original, okay? So that's important. 2, we do keep a backup copy, okay? 3, I would not record your will at the Register of Deeds. That is a public record. Okay, if you did record your will at the Register of Deeds, you still have to probate the original, and you're showing everyone exactly how you're dividing the property. You may or may not want to do that with your family for various reasons. That would not be a smart thing to do in North Carolina or Illinois. Okay? I might not want my kids to know how I'm splitting up my property. I might not want not want to cause rifts in the family, right? Or to cause any ill will toward myself until I pass away. I don't want to be hassled by Mary Sue because she sees I cut her out of the will. You know, I don't want her to curse me until I'm in the ground.
Then you have a water feature.
So those are my thoughts. We do at our office. I can tell you what we do for the cloud part. We said put it in the cloud. We have a bank level security system. It's an encrypted system called eDocs Access. So we place everything that we do for you in that. It prompts you to create a password, only you know that. It's linked to your email, and you create a password. And then you can go there on your phone, or on your iPad, your laptop, and anywhere on planet Earth 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's something we did early on. And our clients love it. And if they have children who live out of state, they can share that access with them as well. So there's solutions for that. Long story short, you need an original will, so you keep it in the same place. Next is family information. We fill out a snapshot of who the family is at that point. And it's a great place to answer questions. And I think that writing being the highest form of organized thought is a great way to organize your thoughts and think about who your family is, how you want them treated, what you want to give to them, which is why I've handed out the worksheet. So family seems simple, but it's not so simple. It's probably more complicated today than it ever has been. Because people aren't necessarily married, dying, a child, not a child, divorced 5 times, I don't know. Used to, Hayden did all my seminars with me. And Hayden, how many husbands did Hayden have?
4.
4? Yeah. Hayden was fun at seminars. And she talked about that. I mean, you know, when you say my husband, you think Hayden ought to put down the name of the husband she's talking about? Yeah, probably. I'm picking on Hayden. Hayden, watch this video. I love you. Okay? I know she's going to see it.
We're not judging you, Hank.
Yeah.
We're not judging. We're not judging. Love you. And so, yeah, so you want to put down what husband you're talking about, right? What about kids? Maybe there are stepkids. How do you want them treated? Do you want them treated as your biological children? Or do you want them treated differently than your biological children? You know, adopted kids. After-born children, grandchildren. And so this is a place to take that. Disinheriting Billy Bob. That's a great place to put that in the will. Okay? So just getting straight who your family is and how you want them treated. Hello. Hey, you're a state fan? Are you? NC State fan? No? Okay. Well,
She just likes red like Miss Diane.
just like red.
Yeah.
You look wonderful. Thank you. You're welcome. So that's a good place to get clear on who your family is and how you want them treated. And it starts you thinking, I guarantee it, when you do that, on what you want to leave to whom, and percentages and splits and things like that.
What if you have no children?
If you have no children, well,
You can't decide which one you're from.
that is a dream that I have all the time. No, I'm just kidding. I have 6 children. I love my children. Okay? Yes. All with the same baby mama. Thank you very much.
Bless your heart, your signature again. Started early. And then he had a couple twins, sis.
No twins, no twins. All singles. My oldest is a freshman at Chapel Hill.
Wow.
So,
Well, you have a will in another state. Is it good here in North Carolina?
if you have a will in another state, that's a great question. Sometimes I think it's worth looking at. And I have looked at wills from other states and said that's rubbish. It doesn't comply. I've looked at wills from other states and said, that's pretty good. That complies with the statute. I think that all we need to do is perhaps a codicil, maybe just saying that every reference to Florida or wherever it is, and the law in Florida needs to be changed to North Carolina law, right? Things like that. So that a codicil can fix that in some cases, but if it's too much, it might be good to strap it and move on. Okay, but it just depends. There's certain things you want to look at, and we'll talk about some of that to make sure your will passes muster in North Carolina. Okay. So. Speaking of specific distributions and how you're distributing property, the next page deals with specific distributions of tangible personal property. So, property can be what? It can be real or personal. That's what it can be. Okay? In my mind, the way I look at it. But that may mean something different to you. What is real property? Dirt. Yeah, real estate. The earth and anything attached to it that's affixed to it, like a stick-built house. Is a mobile home real property? If you own the land, she said. The short answer is no. Okay. A mobile home, when it's built, has a title, just like my car does. Manufactured home, okay, have a title, just like my car does. And just because I park my car on your lot, or on my house lot, right, it doesn't make it part of the land. It's personal property. Really? However,
And after this weekend, we'll find out where it's parked.
It may not be on somebody else's land.
however, there's a process that DMV has. It's an MVR 386, I believe, is the form. But anyway, there's a form to remove title to manufactured home, mobile manufactured home, and affix it to real property. So if you have, and the reason I think that's important for you to think about is you might protect the property with a deed, like a life deed or a ladybird deed, against a Medicaid look-back period if you need long-term care. We do that for people all the time. But then they have a mobile home on it, which is a title piece of property through DMV, and then how's the title going to pass? Well, the title has to pass, let's say that mobile home's worth $50,000. Title has to pass through the will. And when it does, what attaches? Any liens that you have, such as a Medicaid lien. So it attaches to that mobile home. But if we had made it a part of the real property, removed the title, and then filed at the Register of Deeds an intent to affix the mobile home as real property, then it's part of the property. It's protected under the deed. So that's important to think about. In fact, when we're going through this, I want you to think about whether a will is even the right place to pass some of your property, especially your home or any real property that you own. So, what do you have? You can list it here or just think about it. And who do you want to give it to? Who is going to receive it? Yes.
The Medicaid lien. Now, if they take the money that are being paid for the services, when the person dies, why is it that they can go back and ask for more monies?
What is your name?
Virginia.
Virginia said, why can Medicaid ask for more money and something about maybe giving them money already? How can they ask for more? Let me explain. This is a good chance to talk about whether a will is a good place for your home to pass. Everyone in here, stand up one more time for me. One more time. Stand up. Stand up. Okay. Okay. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Please sit down. Please sit down. Please sit down. Please sit down. No. One of you got to stand up. There you go. I didn't say it. Now I have 10 people standing up. 10 people are up, okay? Out of 10 people, how many during your life, if you're over 65 today, are going to need some type of long-term care? How many? Just you? 8 or 9? Is everybody okay? This is not part of the presentation. Keep saying it. Won't take too much longer. Go ahead. You're good. You're good. Keep saying it. It's good. 5 seconds.
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Nobody was hurt.
No, they're fine. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Everybody else sit down. You sit down, you sit down, you sit down, you sit down. There are 7 people still standing. 7 out of 10 people are going to need some type of long-term care during their life. Okay? And when's the table going to fall? I'm asking, really? When am I going to have? When are we going to have a car wreck, a stroke, break his hip, hit our head? When is that going to happen? You don't know. You don't know. The table could fall at any time. Please have a seat. Did you get that?
I got that.
Okay.
It's on camera, guys.
We're running back in slow motion because I was like this. All right, so 7 out of 10 people. That's huge. That's 70%. Okay. So you have to think about that. So do you have long-term care insurance? If not, how much money do you have? Right? How are you going to pay for that? And you said, how can they make you pay it back? Let me tell you, any lien you have when you pass away, where does it attach? Whether it be Visa, MasterCard, or a Medicaid lien that came in and paid for long-term care. Medicaid can come in and pay for assisted living or nursing home care under 2 separate programs. Special Assistance Medicaid pays for assisted living or assisted living with a special care unit like memory care. 3-year look-back period. Nursing home care, long-term care Medicaid pays for it. There's a 5-year look-back period. So you have to have protected assets if you did it outside of their rules, or move money, put it in irrevocable trust, things like that, outside of that period. To be outside where they can see, okay? Or they care about it.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
If you have a lifetime stay,
A life estate.
but it's been longer than 5 years.
Then you're fine.
And
A traditional life estate.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
So they
You
can't
do.
go do.
What that means is she and her husband, I don't know your situation, but have control of that property for the rest of their life, and then when the last one of them passes, automatically the kids own it. Because we've recorded it at the recorder of deeds, or North Carolina, we call it the register of deeds. And it's already there set to pass. Where's the only place, because we're not an expanded recovery state, where's the only place that a lien can attach? In probate. We're going to do it through probate. You're the clerk of court. You play this part. Hey, this is my friend's will. We're going to probate, okay? And you're going to tell me, I can't give you legal advice, Greg, but you need maybe go get a lawyer to help with this, or whatever. If not, you open that probate estate. I'm going to qualify as the executor, and part of my job is listing the home. Or how about because there's a home, I have to do a full estate and listing it in the paper. Okay? So I have to advertise in the paper for 4 consecutive weeks. From the first day that starts, I've got to wait 90 days. That's my lien period before I can do anything else. I can't move to close out the estate at all during that period. So that what can happen? Why am I advertising in the paper?
Somebody can file a
Any
lien.
creditors and stuff.
I mean, people aren't going to see that and send money to my estate? I mean, I guess they could. Yeah, creditors. Yeah, creditors. So in the state of North Carolina, if you've accessed that Medicaid lien, now I'm not talking about Medicare. Every senior over 65 has Medicare. Will Medicare pay for long-term care? No. 20 days in full. After that, they'll pay partial, unless you have a supplement. And then that'll kick in and pay for the next 80. So after 100 days, who pays? I have a couple bucks in my pocket today, but I bet you it'd be gone. I can't even last one day. So you gotta pay. Or else, you can access a Medicaid benefit to pay if you qualify, which we help with that,
But you can't have any.
protecting assets. Well, you gotta have your assets protected, right? So if you're leaving it to go to your kids, oh, I got a will, I'm not worried about it. That's great. See you see you on the courthouse steps and they auction your house.
What happens if that's a person that doesn't have it in hand?
Yeah, then they can't come out and get anything. Can't get one from Rob.
Well, I know that, but why is it that it's okay to go for the person that do and the person that don't?
Because those are the rules. And it ain't fair.
So if you don't own a house. then-
But I'm offering you alternatives. There are ways to save your house. She put 1/4. She said, hey, you can do a life estate deal in your house. So you keep control of it for the rest of your life, and then when you pass it to the kids. You can do that on all your real property. Do you think it's a good idea to give your house to the kids right now? They're nicer to mama. She still has control of it.
In this case, I'm the one who gets the house.
Plus, I don't want a horror story that I drafted a deed to your kid and then he threw you out of the house. That's not good. Yes,
Is
sir.
a life estate the same as a living trust?
No, totally different. Life estate deed is a deed.
Okay.
A trust is a trust.
Is it better to have a trust than a will?
Well, what I'm getting at is if you put everything into your living trust, that way you could never, even if things are not named in your living trust, they can still go to who you designate as the beneficiary of that trust.
If you have a trust, you have to have everything. Whatever's in the trust has to be titled in the name of the trust. So you have to draft the deed titling the property in the name of the trust, or have your bank accounts in the name of the trust. If it is a living trust, then you're the trustee and you control it. You can put stuff in it. You got a cup. You don't have a cup?
Have a plate.
I'll use a plate.
Next time I'll bring cups.
Okay. This is a trust, or else I have a cup. I'm going to put my house in it because I'm going to name it. It's not in my name anymore. It's in the McIntyre Living Trust. Greg McIntyre Living Trust. I might put a bank account in that name, right? And I'm linking it to my social security number because I don't want to be double taxed. But I'm the trustee. I might put some other investments in that name, maybe an investment account, okay? And that's great. And I said exactly what's going to happen to my money and my property in this trust after I die. Trusts are private, not public, so it's never probated. And the trustee administrates the estate with the help of an attorney sometimes. And gets things where maybe deeds of property out of the kids, whatever needs to happen. Okay? Transitions the bank account. Because the trust survives you. However, who's the trustee of this trust on a living trust? My living trust. I am. So I could destroy this trust. Or I could take my bank account out, the investment account, and the house. So what does the government think of my control? Do they count this as it's not my property? No. The living trust, for Medicaid purposes, is still your property because you're in control of it. And even attorneys get this wrong sometimes. A living trust offers zero protection for you, zero in Medicaid plan, zero, because of that. So they're just going to, when they do the Medicaid calculation, hey, you got to have nothing, but everything's in the trust. No, it's not. You're in control of it. It's your problem. If this is an irrevocable trust, please still up, sir. I need a lovely assistant.
Okay.
want you to be my trustee, okay? And this is going to be an irrevocable trust. Irrevocable means I can't revoke that. So it's yours, okay? I'm going to put the home in it, catch it. I'm going to put some investments in there. And I'm going to put my bank account. Who owns it? Is that not, now am I in control of that? Who's in control of it? He is. So for Medicaid purposes or any governmental benefit purposes, that's not my property, it's not my money. We draft trusts like that called Medicaid Asset Protection Trust or Veterans Asset Protection Trust. We do a lot of government benefits or veterans benefits. And they work just great. An advantage of an irrevocable trust with your house over a life estate deed would be that even if I was receiving a Medicaid benefit, or if I wanted to sell my house, I could, because it's not in my name, it's in the trust name. The house could be sold and converted to money, and even though it's a different form of value, right, that value is still in the trust. It doesn't have to come out of the trust, so it's not unprotected, okay?
But who's in control of it?
I'm not in control anymore. That's the rub. The trustee, he is. I want you to take off, turn around, and go out that door. Hey, wait a second. Come back with my house. Now, see, I mean, he's in control. Now, he has a legal duty stating that he has to maintain that money and conservatively manage that money for me and that property during my lifetime. And maybe he's a beneficiary too. It might be my child that's a trustee. And he can pull money out. And maybe the child uses that to slip me some cash or buy me some things, right? Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Thank you for being my temporary, my trustee.
Like your investments or whatever.
Well, you know, investments are a lot of times handled by financial planners, so professionals can manage money in trust, just like they can manage money not in trust. Okay? So that's not my main concern. My main concern is that it takes 5 years to make it past the longest look back period for Medicaid. It's got to be there. It starts the clock ticking from the day you put it in. And you lose control.
Will protect against Medicaid if it's been 5 years.
Irrevocable trust, correct. So will a life estate.
A life estate.
Sure, and you're still in control of the property, right?
Okay, well,
But you can't put a deed on your bank account or
my
investment.
parents were leaving to me.
Yeah, but you can't put a deed on a bank account or investments, right? Right. So there's differences in trust planning and deed planning. But I'm a huge advocate of protecting the house. Ladybird deed is even better than your life estate deed. It's an enhanced life estate deed. A ladybird deed, the difference, it works exactly the same way, except for it's not subject to the look back period. I could put it on today on your house, and you could access that Medicaid benefit for long-term care next month, next day. And it's not subject.
How does that get around it?
It doesn't get around it. It's Medicaid policy. It has been for some time. We've been doing it since about 2012. We've done a lot. So that's a ladybird deed, and that's how it works, okay? Plus, it gives you more control. You can sell, mortgage, or gift your property, move your property out of your name if you want to, without your kids, for instance, if they're getting it, whoever is getting the property, when you pass away, without their approval or their signature. Life estate deed, mom or dad, they can't sell that property or move it without you signing off on that traditional life estate. There's some advantages to the ladybird deed. And when's the table going to fall? I don't know. So that's the ladybird deed. Okay. So should your house pass through your will? It's a personal decision, and those questions should be asked. What's my health right now? Should I do a life estate deed? Should I do a ladybird deed with that property? Do I have other property besides my house? Because the ladybird deed is just meant for your home and any surrounding property up to a value of $550,000. Okay? Not for your rental or the farmland in the upper part of the county. Yes.
I have a question. I'm thinking about this. I started following some years ago. My home's not paid for. I just bought it about 5 years ago.
Sure. So it's mortgage.
So what's the best kind of deed for me?
I don't know. Are you wanting to leave that property to someone?
I only have one child, and she probably won't know.
Okay. Yeah, so those are, again, every estate plan is an individual question, right? And that's a question. Certainly something to consider. Is it worth it?
It's an old home, so.
I don't know. I mean, is it worth it? To me, it's how much equity is in that piece of property. Sometimes I do not, but sometimes people look at a house differently than they do a pile of money. The question is just how much equity is there? How big is the pile of money? You know? It's either worth value or it's 100% mortgage. I don't know. Or it's half mortgage, you know? So that's the question. That's the math problem you have to do. Is what's the equity there? You might want to have a conversation with daughter if you trust her and she's a good person. I'm sure she is.
Well, she won't talk about it, so.
Then I guess it's up to you. Yeah, so you are.
No, I mean, it would still be
Yeah. With a mortgage on a piece of property, if you don't pay, they do what? They take the house away, right?
But so,
Whether you're dead or alive.
would that mortgage payment, like with my Medicare and pension and whatnot, would the mortgage payment be taken out before?
If you are on Medicaid and long-term care, you will have what's called a patient monthly liability. If a single person, I'll use that for an example, is in long-term care, the patient monthly liability, which is also called PML, that's what you hear people in the industry call PML. So that's usually tagged at your income, which is your non-divertible income, Social Security, pension, you know, something you can't get off. Not your IRA, that's an asset. But pension, Social Security, whatever that is, total that up, subtract $32 this year, and that's what you get to keep. The rest goes to the nursing home or assisted living facility, and Medicaid pays the rest of the premium determined state rate.
So it wouldn't, it couldn't.
They are not going to allow you to keep the mortgage payment out. No, it has to be paid for. But there's ways to do that. There's things that certainly a good conversation that I would be glad to have. So, yes.
Are there benefits to doing a reverse mortgage?
I'm not a mortgage broker. I don't love reverse mortgages. They're probably right in certain situations for some people. Okay? But I know they cost a lot of fees to do. And you know, it drastically cuts down the value of the house or your house. I don't know why you would just want to do that. Heck with mine. A conversation I'd be glad to have, okay, on those different options. So, good to think about your property, how it's passing, because it forces you to think, what are the chances I might need long-term care? How much money do I have? Do I have long-term care insurance? Or would deed planning be better for my home and other real property? To protect it, pass it on, take it off the table for planning purposes. Or would a trust be better? Some people, a trust is better. Once you get to a certain wealth level, it might make sense. If you're sitting on $1 million, it might make sense to put half in an irrevocable trust to pass on. Then you have plenty liquid. Some people would want to do that at $500,000 to put a portion in. And maybe the house too.
What happens if you die without a will in North Carolina?
Oh, then it goes by the state's will, which is the intestate succession statute. So I know that I trust our politicians. Our politicians are not like what you said, the crooked politicians from Illinois, right?
That's the only kind we got.
Okay. I trust ours here in North Carolina, and they have made a will for you, okay? Are you good with that? No? Okay, all right. I'm kidding. I kid. So they already have drafted statutes for you, okay, to pass your property, which is called the statutes of intestate succession. Or I like the term I heard someone use one time, the state's will. So, you know, if you die without a will, it's going to split it to your lineal descendants automatically, the kids, evenly. Who's going to qualify and be the administrator? I don't know. It could be any of them. So you're not designating it. You don't have control of that. Also, if you're married, it's not going to give it all to your spouse. It's going to give a portion. Just in general terms, you can say it would give half to a spouse if you have one child and half to the kid. 2/3 to the kids if you have 2 or more children, and 1/3 to the spouse. That might not be how you want your property to travel. You might want to designate what child or person is being the executor. So that's what a will allows you to do. And you can create trust out of a will. It's called testamentary trust. You can get as complex as you want to with a will. So, Moving on a little bit. Residuary distribution. The residuary is what's left over, the residue. What you didn't give out specifically to Bobby Sue and Mary Jo. You might want to split evenly among the grandkids or the kids, or you can do a lot of work in the residuary. So how's everything else going to pass in more of a general sense than specific bequests? Okay? Those are things you think about and you place in the residuary clause. Okay? So that's what the residuary is. And then designation of executor and trustee. Do you think it would be important to name a specific person to handle the distribution of your assets in the will? Or would any old person do it? Because after 90 days, anyone can apply to probate your estate or administer your estate, even if they don't have a will, right? But they would have to say that a family member renounced that duty, or there was an implied renunciation. There's a process for that. We do that all the time in cases. So naming who is going to execute your will and be in charge of that can be very important. I would want someone that was responsible and trustworthy, although the courts have a really good handle on the person that executes the will and make sure that things are done properly and that they adhere to. So think about who's your executor. You can make that short list there. You might want 2 children to do it together as co-executors. You might want to have a backup, right, to come in case your primary can't do it. Maybe something happened. I don't know. But we want that will to be good for the rest of your life, right? Can you use a will before someone passes away? The executor? None. Can you use a power of attorney after someone passes away? No. None. Most important document you can have while you're alive. What is it? General durable power of attorney. There's a lot of reasons I said it. Will has no power until you pass away. So, out of all that, that's a good way to think about how to construct a will. However, where I see most people make mistakes is when they sign the will. How many people have to witness you sign the will? 2 people have to witness. Line of sight, watch you sign the will. Does it have to be notarized? It also has to be notarized. Can the people that witness or notarize your document be your kids? They can be, but they cut themselves out of the will. Okay? They can't be interested parties if they want to take under the will. Okay? Right? So you have to have it. Anybody ever heard of self-proving wills or self-proving affidavits? Unless you want the witnesses to have to show up, and the notary to show up and say that they saw you sign the will when you pass away, then it better be self-proving. So it needs a self-proving affidavit in proper language. So the witnesses sign that, and that's notarized. That's in the will or at the back of the will. And that's part of the will. Or else, they have to sign an affidavit stating that if you pass away, or come testify before the clerk that they saw you sign that. That's your signature.
What if your witnesses passed away before you did?
Then your will's no good. It's not probated.
Are you kidding?
I'm not kidding.
Then we have to do another.
So you better
It's hard to do another will after you've already passed away. No, just make it self-proving. Just have a self-proving will. I was kidding. You like that? Yes, you would need to do another one to make it self-proving. Yes, that would be advisable. She said, so would you need to do another will? And I told her it would be hard to do another will after you've already passed away. So self-proving wills are good too. So there's a lot of little tricky things with wills that need to be gotten right. Okay, so make sure you inspect those. Here's another question just to cap it all. Can you write your own will? What's that called? Hologram. Just close. Holographic will. You know, holographic will is written in your own hand, okay, and signed by you, okay. And that's supposed to be legal, but it's right for fraud. Kind of put that up with the oral wills and the rodents, you know, because anybody can write the thing, you know, and maybe copy your signature on it. So I don't love those, okay. But there is a holographic will statute in North Carolina.
How hard is that to get to probate?
Yeah, that's where I think you're going to have problems with. Because it's going to be really, really scrutinized. Right? And you know, the clerk or judge, you know, I think the clerk's really going to be the first judge of that. If I'm the clerk and I smell a rat and I see a greedy kid in there trying to take things away from the rest of the family, and then the other sister comes in and says, that's what happened. That's what happens. You know, he wrote that. You know, he had mom sign it. He had her alone for 2 weeks before she passed away. Then I'm not going to allow that to be probated. I'm going to put it on that son to prove me wrong and appeal my decision.
And what happened?
Then it would pass under the state's will, so the testing succession. If there's no will. Hey, you know what? We just talked about a little bitty sliver of estate planning day, but it kind of led into a lot of other discussions with deed protection, which I'm a big fan of, and general durable power of attorney, which we didn't spend enough time on. I'd be glad to come back and talk about different aspects of estate planning. If you would like me to do that, okay? Please leave me a review. No, I'm just kidding. There's nowhere to leave a review. Maybe tell the why or something like that, and Taylor can work that out. I do things like this all the time. I'm a yes man, so there's never been a time that I've said no to come and speak to an audience, okay? So if you'd like for me to come to your civic group and maybe a speaker or your Sunday school class or anyone else, I'd be glad to do that, okay? You can just call our office. I believe you have our phone numbers. You should have paperwork and maybe my cards. Do they have my cards as well?
I have them right there, right behind you. Yep.
There's a stack of cards here, okay? And I would be glad to come do that. And because you suffered through all my bad jokes and stuff today, I'd offer a free consult too. If you want to sit down with me one-on-one and discuss your specific situation, I'd be glad to review documents that you have, and I often do that, and I do that, I'll do that as frankly as possible, and Taylor will handle that. So Taylor will sit down here, pop up in the computer. She has control of my calendar. I just go where they tell me, and she will handle that. So if you want to see her afterwards, she would offer that based on you coming today. And hey, I write a lot of books. Not a lot, but I've written a couple here for the firm. A lot of what we talked about today is in Saving the Farm. Breakdown of deed protection, how ladybird deeds work versus life estate deeds versus other things. Interviews in here from Teepa Snow, other experts on dementia, Alzheimer's, many things relating to seniors. Saving the Farm, a practical guide to the legal age of aging in America. And it has a little story in there about my own family's experience with this type of stuff. Okay? So, we have extra books on. Yeah, we have plenty of books. Okay? And you can see Taylor about a book as well. Okay? Hometown Heroes is one I came out with maybe last month.
2 months ago.
2 months ago now? Okay, I can't keep track of time. But it's mainly a book of veterans stories, local veterans stories, with a chapter on veterans benefits. I'm a veteran in the U.S. Navy, and I'm a certified attorney through Veterans Affairs, and we do lots of veterans benefits work as well. So that's, if you're interested in veterans benefits, there's also a chapter on veterans benefits in Saving the Farm. So, Taylor, I'll take back that. Thank you so much for being here and allowing me to come. Okay, I should go work out, but I'm not.